Hello and welcome back to this week's video. As some of you already know, if you've watched last week's video, I've been reading an advanced reader copy of Luke Courtney's The Girl Who Sings to Dragons, which is an epic fantasy novel, the first in the Winged Wolf saga. And I thought that today, seeing as today is his official release date, I would do a review video now so that hopefully I could spread the word for him, or help spread the word about his book, which is well worth the read, by the way. Spoiler straight away, I've got to say it, got to put it out there. I will tell you this is an honest review, and because it is an honest review, I will also let you know that I know Luke through Instagram. We've never met in real life, but both being authors from the UK, we kind of understand each other's situations. We've swapped advice, commiserated at times. And I've followed the progress of this book for quite a while, and I've got to say that when the opportunity to be an ARC reader came up, I bit his hand off for the chance because it just sounded so awesome. The post that he put out there just made the book sound so enticing and so intriguing. I just was like, yeah, I've got to read this book. And I've also pre-ordered the book as well, so it's now sitting on my Kindle, ready to reread at a later date. So let's get into the book. So the book starts off, we meet Fionnuala, who is the rightful Queen of Demeteria. I will just pause for a second and just say that some of these names are a little bit tricky to pronounce. He does have a pronunciation guide at the beginning of the book, which was very useful, and I kept flicking back to that. So I was grateful for that. But in this video, if I mispronounce any names, please don't hold it against me. I'm trying. So we meet Fionnuala, who is the rightful Queen of Demeteria. She is on the run. Her parents have been killed by her usurper uncle, who has stolen the throne from her, and basically sent her on the run. So she's on the run in the Forest of Sylvan with her brothers, her 3 younger brothers, and a few of her faithful retainers. And they are determined to win back the throne. Our male protagonist, Aidan, his parents are also killed roughly the same time as Fionnuala's parents, and he is sent on the run. I think at the age of 13, both of their parents were killed. But while he's on the run, he's found pretty quickly by his aunt, who is a sister of the Sisterhood of the Ebon Angel, which is a closed community of warrior women. And I will tell you that some of my favourite characters can be found in this community. They're very strong, independent, kind of like kick-ass women. They are pretty cool. But slowly and surely, Aidan and Fionnuala begin to get to know of each other. And they learn that their marriage has basically been arranged from when they were tiny, and they've been prophesied to bring about the birth of the heir to the throne, who is going to be the Winged Wolf, and who is going to basically overturn the Holy Empire's tyranny, and good will win and prevail in the end. But at the moment they're separated and they've not seen each other, and that kind of goes through the whole book. They never see each other, and I really like that aspect of it because it didn't even end with their meeting, so that was pretty cool. And so that leaves me wanting more for book 2. The characterisation in this book is superb. I love Numata Regis, who is one of Fionnuala's guards. He's so loyal and so powerful, and he's just he's a classic knight for a fantasy novel, basically. I just loved him. And as I say, couple of the sisters from the Ebon Angel community were really good as well. So the characterisation in this book is really good, and I particularly found myself falling in love with Aidan and Fionnuala's story. Aidan's slightly more so, just because he's battling so many inner demons to succeed, whereas Fionnuala, and I really like this aspect, don't get me wrong, I really like the fact that she was so confident of who she was right from the start. There are times when she feels like she needs to prove herself, but overall, the feeling I got with Fionnuala is that she knows she's queen and she's ready to prove it. Whereas Aidan has a lot of insecurities and a lot of issues to kind of overcome, which I thought kind of turned that sort of gender bias on its head a little bit, which I really appreciated. As I mentioned earlier in the video, a couple of my favourite characters could be found in the Sisterhood of the Ebon Angel. So we had Aidan's aunt, who is Scathach. Really hope I'm pronouncing that name right. That's one of the names I really struggled with throughout the novel. And I really liked Tanith as well. Tanith's story in particular was surprising and awesome. I'm not going to say anything about it because it was quite a big whoa moment, and I don't want to take that away from anybody or from Luke. So yeah, just keep reading and you will love it, I'm sure. Okay, so the world building in this story was also really, really good, and I can only hope to build a world as intricate and as wide as this one. He's got so much detail in Demeteria. There's so many political factions and places. No. So let's move on to the world building. I love world building in any novel, and I'm talking any novel, like romance, you've got to have world building in that, but obviously in fantasy, that takes it to the next level. And the world building in this was so detailed, I could only hope to produce something as original and as fun as this world. He does provide you a map, as any good fantasy author does. He provides you with a map, which I was grateful for, and I kept referring to it because obviously there's a lot of place names, and obviously with Aidan and Fionnuala not seeing each other for so long, but still travelling, I kind of wanted to keep track of where they were travelling to and how far they were in relation to each other and stuff. Because I honestly thought going into this they would get closer and closer and closer and closer and then meet at the end, but they don't. So that was realistic. Do you know what I mean? I really like that aspect, and it keeps us going for book 2. It keeps us wanting more for book 2. The Holy Empire, in particular, I do love a baddie. I don't make any bones about that fact. I love baddies in fantasy. I mean, I think some of the baddies in fantasy novels kind of make the story, and this was no different. I really enjoyed reading the chapters with Amulius and Medea. My only criticism with that is that I would have loved to have seen more. I would have loved to have seen more of them and take a peek into what they're planning. But I can understand why he didn't do that, because obviously you don't want to give away too much in book 1. So I'm hoping that this may develop and we may see more of them in book 2. So fingers crossed for that one. So this book features something that I've never read about before: shapeshifters. And going into The Girl Who Sings to Dragons, this was the one aspect that I kind of thought, am I going to enjoy this? I was curious, but I wasn't convinced that I was going to enjoy it. If you see, I don't really watch a lot of werewolf things and read a lot of books about werewolves and things like that, but I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. I did enjoy the werewolf parts. The battle scenes in this were really good, especially with the werewolves, because you kind of see them in both their human form and they battle in both their human form and their wolf form, and you get to see both sides of that, and I thought that was good insight into the characters as well. I would like to see a few more of more of a variety of the shapeshifters on offer in this world, because he mentions werebears, werelynxes, and other kind of shapeshifters, and I would love to see that side of things kind of develop in book 2 as the story goes on and the kind of story widens out a little bit. I'm hoping we will see more of those. We did see one werebear. There is one werebear in there, and I did like her, and she was a good addition, because when you think of shapeshifters, you traditionally think of werewolves. So it was nice to see a different sides and different kinds of shapeshifters that were on offer in this story. I would say that this book is perfect for anyone who enjoys Game of Thrones. There's definitely kind of like lots of echoes from Game of Thrones in this story, and I don't think I think that was intentional. And I would definitely recommend this book to anybody who likes epic fantasy. This feels like this is the first book into a much wider world, and I feel like this is a really good gateway into more of this, more of Demeteria and more of the characters that can be found within Demeteria. So I'm really looking forward to book 2. And don't forget, yeah, so if you're looking for a epic fantasy book that takes you to a completely different place, I would highly recommend The Girl Who Sings to Dragons. I will leave a link down below in the description box underneath this video, and I will also leave a link to Luke's Instagram, so you can go and follow him over there and follow more of his progress as an author. I will also leave a link to some of Luke's other books as well, so you can pick up your copy of any of his urban fantasy books if you want to, and I think he's also written a children's book as well, so that might be worth looking into if you have kids. So that's it for this video. So until next week, I will see you. So that's it for this video. So I will see you next week with a brand new video. Bye.